I'm Randy Courtney, broker-owner of Weichert Realtors Courtney Valleywide, and thanks for joining me. Today we're in Phoenix and we're going to talk with Maricopa County Tax Assessor Paul Peterson. We'll be talking about how he assesses taxes and the tax rate for Arizona properties. Let's go. As we're talking about Maricopa County taxes and how it compares to the nation, we are actually the 12th lowest tax assessment county of any county in the nation. Now, we're going to talk further with the assessor about how he comes up with the tax formula and how properties are assessed in Arizona. The other interesting thing is that there are 12 counties in the nation that are actually double the tax rate of Arizona and 4 that are actually triple. This is why we live here. It's Arizona. The cost of living is very low. We are about $1,000 lower than a typical homeowner across the nation. The average Arizonan usually pays about $1,320 for an average single family house. Compare that to a country average of $2,300. Hi, Paul Peterson.
How are you?
Thanks for having me.
Sure, anytime. Glad you could make it all the way out to Phoenix.
You bet. Appreciate your time in talking with us today. We have many of our, clients and public that actually are so inquisitive about how the tax assessor works and how you come up with a formula. It's things like limited cash value and different things that you apply to each property. And how many properties are you assessing?
In Maricopa County, I would say there's about 1.6 million properties that we notice every year.
Incredible.
Very, that's a lot. We're one of the largest taxing jurisdictions in the United States.
Excellent. So tell us how the assessment value was started and how you use the limited cash value.
So the values that we send on the notice, there's 2 of them. One is called full cash value. That is synonymous with market value. That's the value that we notice to property owners every year. So when you receive a notice from the assessor's office, you'll see two values. That value is the one that you should look at, and everybody's familiar with what their house is worth. So that's the one you should compare the value in your head, or the one that you've got an appraisal on or something, with the full cash value, which is synonymous with market. The secondary value is called LPV, and that is simply just a calculation. It's important though, because all taxes are based on that number. It generally is lower than the full cash value. So if you think about that, that's good for property owners from a property tax perspective, because they're being taxed on a value that is in many cases substantially less than what the market value would be.
How often do you assess the values?
Every year.
Every year?
Right, every year.
And so when we get the tax assessment, a lot of times I'll see like maybe a 2-year period. Is that just projecting forward?
Yeah,
or?
That's a good question. So the property tax calendar in Arizona is quite long and complicated. It's meant to protect the homeowner, to give them due process to appeal. You'll see 2 years values on a notice.
Yes.
We're actually sending the notice, so the notice this office sent out in February was for the property tax bill that you on your house, or for your viewers who are listening to this, will actually receive in September 2020.
I see.
So there's at least 18 months before the notice turns into a bill. So when you get 2 notices, what we're actually doing is allowing you to compare the previous year's value. So the 2020 notice has the 2019 value on it, so you can see what difference occurred on your particular property.
Excellent. I really appreciate your time today, Paul. It's been insightful. We've got a good man at the helm.
Well, thank you.
Appreciate it.
You're too kind. I appreciate that. For your viewers, if they're interested in more information about the assessor's office, we have an excellent website, very user-friendly. It's www.mcassessor.maricopa.gov. You can check your property there. Just go to the search bar, type in your name or your address, and you can see all this information there.
Perfect. That's so helpful. Thanks,
Great.
Paul.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
See you later.
You bet. We've picked out 2 of our many properties that we have listed. One in Mesa, it's 9544 East Kramer. The property taxes on that property is about 2,200 square feet. about $2,300 a year. In LA, that's $3,600 a year. And in Chicago, that's a whopping $12,000 a year. Another property that's listed in Phoenix in the foothills at 1114 West Thunderhill. That property assessment right now is at $3,300 a year for the assessment. In LA, that would be $6,300, but in Chicago, $22,000 a year. So you can see the comparison of many high tax areas where people are coming here. I hope you found this helpful, and thanks for joining me for another episode of American Dream TV.